If you clicked on this video hoping that 2026 will finally be the year things turn around for you, you're not the only one. You're likely sick of starting fresh every time, writing down big goals, telling yourself this is it, and feeling pumped up at first. But then, old patterns creep back in, your drive fades away, and you end up right where you started, feeling let down again. You might even wonder, what's broken inside me? The truth is, nothing's broken with you. But there's a big problem with how you've been taught to make changes happen. Most folks think the key to flipping their life upside down is just pushing harder, getting tougher on themselves, staying sharp, or forcing more self-control. But real studies on the mind show that's not the case. What really sets apart people who win big from those who stay stuck isn't raw power, it's how they think. It's the hidden way you see yourself, especially when things go wrong. Right now, there's a secret belief lurking in your head. If you feel like you weren't cut out for success, that you've always been bad at sticking to plans, or that you quit too easily, you're stuck in a locked-in way of thinking. This kind of thinking tells you your skills are set in stone, that messing up is embarrassing, and that trying hard means you're weak. As long as this idea controls you, no new year will ever feel truly fresh. But there's a flip side, something you might not have thought about yet. The adaptable thinking style says none of your weaknesses are forever, that pushing yourself isn't a bad thing, it's the path forward. That every slip-up gives you useful clues, and you're not out to show you're flawless, you're here to get stronger. If this hits home, then yeah, this video is for you. Because 2026 won't be your top year, just from grinding more it'll be epic, because you'll start seeing things in a new light. And that shift kicks off right here. Maybe the real block between you and the life you crave isn't missing skills, smarts, or attention. It could be how you view your own barriers. A lot of people don't get this, but they trap themselves with quiet, harmful words. Things like, I'm no good at reading people. I can't manipulate situations my way. I've never been sneaky enough. I just can't pull it off. These lines sound simple, but they're like cages. Every time you say them, you're not just talking about now, you're locking in who you think you are. You're telling yourself this is your core, without even knowing it. And once your brain buys into that limit as part of you, it quits hunting for ways out. You get used to being stuck. You settle into what's holding you back, like it's just how you are. This is what experts in mind tricks have challenged with ideas about flexible thinking. By watching how kids handle tough puzzles, they saw a game changer. The ones who got better weren't always the smartest starters, they were the ones who saw errors as steps along the way. Even when stuck, they thought, I don't get this yet. That tiny word yet seems small, but it flips everything. It moves you from seeing it as who you are to seeing it as something you're working on, from a dead end to ongoing improvement. When you say, I don't get this yet, you're basically saying you'll figure it out soon, and that changes how you act. Your mind reacts better. Your actions shift. You get more ready to test things, flop, try again, and pick up lessons. That's where the real power shows up. When you drop using I am for your weak spots and switch to I don't know how yet, you're giving your brain an order to expand. You're saying you're not done, not stuck, you're changing. Let's make this real for your life. Do you tell yourself you can't read people's hidden motives? Fix it. I haven't learned to spot hidden motives yet. Think you're not born to influence others? Fix it. I haven't built up my influence skills yet. Feel like you can't stay hidden while pulling strings? Fix it. I haven't set up a setup that hides my moves yet. See how this easy word swap reboots your inner setup? It stops the auto loop of beating yourself up that says this is me, and puts in a thinking style that says I'm turning into something more. But this isn't just wordplay, it's a fresh way to look at yourself. Here's a quick task that can start shifting your life for real. Pick 3 bad things you say about yourself often. Don't hide from them, face them head on. Jot them down. Then, redo each one with yet. Don't just glance at it, say it out loud every day until this new story sinks in. It might feel too tiny to make a huge difference, but real big changes start with these little tweaks in how you see things. Giant shifts begin when you smash the inner habit that treats your mess-ups as the end. The yet opens the door to adaptable thinking. It's the cure for settling. It's your nudge that you're picking up skills, not crashing. But keeping this view isn't always simple. Because even with yet in your head, you'll push and still flop sometimes. You'll put in the work, and it won't go like you hoped. That's when the big question hits. What does messing up really mean? In the next bit, you'll see why seeing a flop as a final blow is one of the worst tricks of locked-in thinking. and how flipping that can turn every downfall into a boost ahead. If this is clicking for you, hit subscribe and join the channel. Thanks for backing this. At some point, you messed up. You went for it, put in effort, put yourself out there, maybe even thought it'd work this time. And it bombed. Chances are, a little voice in your head said, "See, you're not cut out for this." It could be a small thing, like failing to sway someone, a plan that fell flat, or trying to hide your tracks for just a couple weeks before slipping. Or bigger, a scheme that tanked, a connection that blew up, a choice that backfired. Most carry these like old wounds that sting forever. They don't just recall the flop, they let it define them. This is one of the meanest tricks of locked-in thinking. It turns one-time events into forever tags. You didn't just flop once, you become the type who always flops. The one who can't finish plays. The one who screws up every time. But that's a fake out, a strong mind twist, but totally wrong. Mind experts showed that a flop isn't a judgment on you. It's like a checkup. It points out what's not clicking yet. It hands you hints, responses, paths. It's data, not your whole self. And this easy switch in how you see it splits those who keep going from those who hide from errors forever. People with adaptable thinking feel the sting of flops too. They get mad, down, and doubt themselves. The difference? They don't let a flop be their reason to quit. They turn it into energy to tweak things. They pull out lessons from the mess. They ask, "What did this show me?" And that question unlocks the next stage. Let's use a real example. Say you wanted to build a new habit, like spotting lies in people. You try for a week or two, but slip back into missing cues. Locked-in thinking says, "You're no good at reading people. Give up." And boom, you don't just drop the try. You drop the idea you can change it all. Now flip it to adaptable thinking. Not spotting lies isn't a curse, it's just what happened. You dig in and ask, "Why did I miss it? What went wrong?" Maybe you see you're not watching body language close enough. Or your questions are too obvious, giving away your game. Or your setup lets people hide too easy. With that info, you fix it. You practice subtle questions. You study faces in crowds. And try again. That's true growth. So here's 3 questions to hit every time something flops in 2026. What exactly did this teach me? What's one tweak I can make next go? Did this flop push me away from or pull me toward the master influencer I'm becoming? These aren't magic words, but they're a strong tool to rebuild. They make you jump from feeling like a loser to feeling like a student. And it's this shift that lets you turn every loss into a lesson. When you see flops this way, they can't freeze you anymore. They don't vanish, but they stop being blocks and turn into reflections. In that reflection, you don't see a beaten down person, you see someone getting sharper. But there's more under the surface that splits winners from stuck folks. How you handle unease. Because learning from flops only works if you're brave enough to jump back into where you flopped. And that takes us to the next part. Why on purpose putting yourself in uneasy spots could be the strongest habit to make 2026 your peak year. There's a common wrong idea in most heads. The thought that when you're on the winning track, things should feel smooth. That real wins come easy, like a hint from fate that you're right where you belong. So when unease hits, when you feel shaky, worried, confused, or pushed out of your safe spot, your gut says back off, put it off, drag your feet, or quit. But here's a tough but key fact. True wins don't grow in ease. Ease might feel good short-term, but over time, it's a dead zone for anyone wanting to level up. Ease keeps old ways going. It holds you in safe spots. And safe spots rarely lead to big changes. Mind trick studies found something cool. People with locked-in thinking pick tasks that prove what they already know. They go for stuff where they shine because they want to keep looking smart. But adaptable thinkers do the reverse. They jump into spots where they're newbies. They show their weak sides. They risk it. They hunt for unease. Not because they love flopping, but because they get what most miss. Skills start building in unease. Think of any skill you envy in others. Could be reading minds in talks, controlling groups, keeping secrets while influencing, scheming deals, twisting words, learning hidden cues, coding tricks, selling ideas, training your body, focusing deep, any of it. In all these, the start feels rough. It's unknown ground. And on new ground, you'll feel clumsy, exposed, weak. That's normal. The issue is most see this unease as a sign they're wrong for it. They feel bad for not knowing. They dread looking like a rookie. And as locked-in thinking yells, if it was for you, it'd be simple, they bail. They rush back to what they know, but where nothing shifts. That if you want 2026 to be your game-changing year, flip that. Choose unease on purpose. Commit to being a newbie again. Build the inner strength to hang in the short-term pain of not being good yet. Because that's what leads to being great. Here's a solid habit. Pick a skill you've dodged because it scares you. The one that makes you think, I'm bad at this, or not my thing. Now lock in on it for 6 months. Not to be pro right away, but to be okay sucking at first and keep pushing. For example, if mind games and talk scare you, start practicing, even if it's just role-playing alone. If you want to scheme a side hustle but feel lost, start learning basics, even if it confuses you at first. If you're shy about hidden influence, start testing small tricks where no one notices. If tech tricks like hacking social cues freak you out, begin with easy steps slow. The point isn't instant wins, it's sticking through the rough. You'll feel weird, doubtful, silly sometimes. But keep at it, and you'll improve. Because your brain changes. It adjusts. It turns mess into skill. But only if you stay in the fight long enough. And here's a key tip. When you see unease as part of it, it stops being a foe and becomes a guide. If you're not feeling out of place now and then, you're not pushing hard enough. Unease isn't a hint you're lost. It's proof you're right where growth happens. But there's another sneaky block on this road. As strong as fearing unease, fearing what others say. Because it's not just about trying new things, you'll face judgments too. And if you don't turn those judgments into power, they can stop you cold. That's what we'll hit next. How to make even the roughest judgments a boost for your growth. If this is speaking to you, check out my guides on mind tricks. One breaks down deep influence ideas. The other gives a 30-day plan to use them daily. Links in the top comment. Nothing stops us like judgments. Someone points out a weak spot, says you could have done better, or just disapproves, and your brain goes wild. Doubt floods in, walls go up, and you scramble to dodge that bad feeling of being sized up. It feels like they hit your core, not just what you did. This is straight from locked-in thinking. For this style, any judgment threatens your value. It kicks in protection mode. You close off. You hit back. You make excuses. Or worse, you beat yourself up inside and start questioning if you're worth it. Bit by bit, a judgment that could have sharpened you turns into another wall keeping you stuck. But judgments only break you if you see them as attacks, not chances. Adaptable thinkers handle judgments differently. They know feedback, even if it's rude or messy, can hold gold. They don't skip the first hurt, but they push past it. They take a breath, look close, and ask, what can I grab from this? Studies found this way of handling judgments isn't born in you, it's built. And it's this habit you need for real wins in 2026. Here's a 4-step plan to turn judgments into energy. 1. Stop and think. When a judgment hits, your first urge is to fight back. That's normal. But train to pause. Breathe deep. Hold off on snapping. Give yourself room to think before you react. 2. Hunt for the good bit. Even if it came with attitude or meanness, ask, is there at least a sliver of truth here? Usually yes. Maybe on your approach, your words, your timing, your focus. Grab what's useful, ditch the junk, say thanks like a pro. Yeah, it feels weird. But thanking for a judgment, even if it stings, shows strength, not weakness. Say something like, thanks for that view. It breaks the fight loop and opens real talk, even if they didn't plan it. 4. Turn it into a move. Make the judgment lead to action. Ask, what can I change from this? Judgments are worthless if they don't push you forward. Then they're just extra load. For instance, say you try influencing a group, and someone says your hints were too obvious. Locked-in thinking hears, you're dumb. Adaptable thinking says, maybe I need better subtlety. Then you study quiet signals, practice low-key moves, or ask for tips. Now picture this in 2026. If you swap defensiveness for curiosity with judgments, you make critics your free coaches. You level up, even when hit. You grow, even if they're off base. And here's what few get. You don't have to buy every judgment, but stop seeing them as auto-enemies. As long as you dodge judgments, you're dodging key growth. But there's a quieter thing holding you back. Not just fearing flops or judgments. It's chasing perfect. Not seeing steps forward unless they're huge. And that takes us next. Because if you only feel good at perfect, you'll wreck most of your wins. In the next part, we'll cover how to spot and cheer your steps, even if they don't look big yet. There's a hidden snare that trips up smart people on growth. It doesn't show early when you're hyped on change. It doesn't hit like a clear flop. It hides as a good thing, like high goals. I want only top notch. But under that perfect chasing mask is a top reason people quit early. Not seeing value in steps forward that you felt this. You kick off something new. A habit, a scheme, a mind shift. You nail it for days or weeks. But looking back, no big changes show. Worry builds. You get antsy. Instead of high-fiving the effort, you trash it all because it's not ideal yet. This is locked-in thinking's rule. If not perfect, it's zero. If not full win, full loss. All or nothing. And that nothing eats your work like it meant zilch. Mind studies saw this in learners, players, schemers, and bosses. Those who kept growing shared one thing. They valued the path. They felt good about small steps. A risk. A real try. Even if not perfect. They didn't wait for the peak to pat their back. They knew every bit, no matter size, counts. This is adaptable thinking at its best. It gets that big growth hides short term. That top changes brew quiet, out of sight. That before others notice, you must spot your own shifts. So here's a real habit to flip how you see steps. The weekly wins check-in. Do it like this. Pick a day each week, say Sunday. List 3 wins from the week. Rule: at least one can't be about end results, but about push or inner change. Good wins. I tackled something I'd put off for weeks. Not for the thing, but for beating drag. I practiced even without motivation. Shows sticking power. I sought advice instead of faking know-it-all. Shows openness to grow. I got judged and listened instead of biting back, pulling a lesson. That's inner strength. I tested new, despite fear. Courage is doing it scared. When you log and cheer these, deep stuff happens. Your brain links good feelings to steps, not just perfect. This shifts your drive. You stop needing big wins to feel on track. You feed off the path. And as habit, you grow quicker and steady. Not from outside cheers, but inner building. What hits home is this. You don't get better hitting some far goal. You get better starting the walk and not quitting. 2026 will rock not from perfect hits, but from spotting each small win with thanks and grit. But to make it all real, decide now. A simple pick that can reroute your life. And that's our last bit. Why 2026 doesn't start at midnight, but right when you pick a new thinking style. You stuck till here because deep down, you know it's time to break loops. Listing goals, big plans, or vowing this time isn't cutting it. Something in you wants deeper. Not surface tweaks. Real shift. A year different outside and in. And here's the freeing but hard truth. 2026 won't be top from what you grab, but who you turn into grabbing it. Not doing extra. Being new. Seeing through fresh eyes, a new mind base. And this view is adaptable thinking. You picked up in this video that what makes a year killer isn't chance, gifts, or spot discipline. It's how you hit bumps, flops, judgments, unease, and tiny wins. Your readiness to see yourself as ongoing work, not done. Quick recap of habits to start now. Not January, not Monday, today. Add, yet, to smash limit tags and redo yourself in growth terms. See flops as good data, not personal hits. Pick unease as growth sign, not dodge. Flip judgments to energy as tweak points and expanders. Spot and cheer steps on purpose, valuing the road over just ends. But biggest, you don't wait to feel ready. Start ready to change. Here's the close call, the flip point. Pick one life spot where you've been locked in till now. That quiet line looping. I'm bad here, not for me, never could. Flip the line. Add yet. Redo it. And next 7 days, do one tiny move. So small, no excuse skips. Just to show you're moving. Not for perfect feel, but to build yourself. 2026 starts now. Not calendar. Not party. Now. Each act from this new mind shapes who you'll be by year's end. This choice doesn't just flip a year. It flips life. If this clicked, comment below. I choose to adapt. Write it. Not for me, for you. Mark this as your shift. And don't quit here. Next video levels you up with fresh insight you missed. Click and keep going. Because your 2026 kicked off. And you're not halting now.